Hello everyone, we're back for another round of some more Xtreme awesomeness for the next MAME 2003 Xtreme update, and we're going to start out with Terminator 2. Great movie, by the way. I've watched it so many times over the years. And obviously Edward Furlong was great in it. I also liked him in the horror movie called Brain Scan, which is a really cool movie. Not really well known. He was in Pet Sematary 2, and so on. And right here it's saying unable to read gun calibration values. The game is pretty much unplayable, but with the update, I'm going to have it actually have the calibration all done for you. So we're going to exit this for right now. Again, when you load it, the next update is going to be set up, and I'm going to show you exactly how it is. And then we're going to load a few more games here. I mean, there are several problem games that have all been fixed up, and I give personal thanks to the great people who have helped collaborate over the last few years. Mark W. Kidd, Grant2258, and Arcadez2003. But let's see what other games we have here. I mean, this game right here, Sly Spy, along with Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, are the sole reason that I got into emulation to begin with. Just being able to play these on a PC versus not being able to play them in arcades anymore, because both of the cabinets for these games were no longer in arcades at the time. And winners don't use drugs. Great game. Obviously a take on James Bond, but Day style here. And you can even do 007 if you want to. I always love the skydiving sequence here. I love movies that open with skydiving sequences. And take for instance like Wesley Snipes, big fan of his movie. There's not as well known called Drop Zone. That is one of my favorite movies. Gary Busey is a perfect villain in that, just like he is in, of course, the Under Siege movie. But yes, great game here. And you're going to see exactly what I'm going for here, because not only are some of these games fixed up, but they're also complemented with some more pure awesomeness here. We're going to do Disks of Tron as another one here. We're going to do one or two more examples, and then I'm going to show you exactly what happens afterwards. Let's see where Disks of Tron is here in this list. We got quite a few to go through today. I might not get to all of them, but Disks of Tron is another game that had issues. Initially, this game did not work at all due to sample rate conflict, wherein some games were higher sample rates than others, and some games such as Journey, Tapper, and of course Rampage, and so on. Even Spy Hunter had issues even loaded in MAME 2003. They only worked in MAME 2000 and MAME 2010, but on top of that, this particular game had mirror image graphics and reverse controls, but it was absolutely unplayable, but it's all fixed up now. But this is pretty much how the game loads as far as graphics now that they're fixed, and the controls are fixed. But if you ever play this game in a real arcade, this is nothing like what it looks like in the actual arcade. And I'm going to show you what I mean in a moment here when I do a test demonstration of before and after. Here's the before right now. Okay? And I also mentioned in my last video that many of the games actually have L and R as the preliminary controls for quite a few games now. Like, should we say, like pole position and such. But yes, you can see this is pretty much how the emulated version of this looks, but this is not how the true arcade version looks. So this is one example right there. Just pay attention to what I just showed you. And then I'm going to give you one more example. Then we're going to pretty much install the updated core, work in progress core, and I'm going to show you the fixes in action. Now, I also worked a little bit on 720, a great game. Big fan of 720. Type of game that you learn in a minute and take a lifetime to master. Also fun, just like the great Skate or Die, which I loved on NES. But let's see here. What was the last? Oh, I'm going to show you this more classic game here. Because some of these games never really properly emulated well, but now we're going to be able to emulate them pretty much more authentically like they do on the original hardware. And here's a perfect example of this. Just look at how the graphics are here right now, black and white. And what some of you might not realize is that some of these games that were in black and white, when you emulate them, they were actually in color and such, with special backdrops in the actual arcade versions. And there were quite a few like this. I'm going to be showcasing quite a few that are fixed up like this. But yes, this is how it looks without the backdrop. So the equivalent of Tron and such. But right now I'm going to actually pause the video and I'm going to shut the system down and install the update. Let me shut the system down right now. And then I'm going to come back with the rest of the update and show you some of these games fixed up. So let me shut down real quick. And then when you see me booting back up, I'm going to be with the updated core. Okay, we got the H2CE logo and we're booting back up. We're going to see the work in progress update, and the game should be quite fixed up now. Again, thanks Mark W. Kidd, Arcadez2003, and of course Grant2258, all great individuals. And let's go to Boot Hill first, the last one that we tested, I believe. Let's see how it looks with the special background support. Let's go to that real quick. Okay, you're going to see a tremendous difference here between what I showed you a couple minutes ago and now. Here you go. Enjoy. More authentic to the real arcade version here. This is so awesome. Then we're going to do this and then Tron and then do a few more fixed up games. And I can do many of these on request too. I mean, if there are any specific games you guys and gals want to see me do, let me know and I'll try to work them in. But try to get them as close to the authentic arcade counterparts as possible. And this is Boot Hill. I believe it was like 1975 or so that this came out. Initially, when you load this, it'd be like black and white. We're going to go to Tron next, and you'll see a much more extravagant thing. Because if you ever played this in the arcade, it has more like a mirrored image style thing. And we're going to do it right now. Disks of Tron. There we go. And again, the game actually works now because the sample rate is fixed up. We have proper controls. The graphics are not reversed. And last but not least, now we have a more authentic arcade appearance. And you'll see for yourself in a moment here. Check it out for yourself. This is so tremendously sweet. One of my favorite games to see with this update. Here we go. Check this beautiful, beautiful thing out. This is so awesome. It's a perfect immersion to what you would typically see in the arcade version, which had a mirror in the actual arcade cabinet to give you this effect. Again, try to get as many games as I could cover. I mean, I got pole position done as well. And thanks again, Grant2258, for helping out with that. Hope if I could actually hit the people here. Man, I'm failing so bad at this right now. Come on, let's take this guy out. Bam. There we go. Sweet spot right there. And this game actually gets real damn cool and quite challenging the more you play it. Just like any classic Atari-style game where the challenge level just significantly increases as you play it more. There we go. Oh, jeez. Yeah, you make it through a few rounds here. It is incredibly challenging. And some of you might be aware of the custom OSTs that we had, such as with Final Fight, Double Dragon, of course, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, Outrun, NBA Jam, and Mortal Kombat. And last but not least, Street Fighter. Imagine if we have the type of border like we have in the arcade version for Double Dragon, and along with the custom OST. Check it out for yourself. Right here, you're going to see them merge together into perfect, harmonious synchronicity. And there's a time when there's actually a song by The Police, and I couldn't figure out what it was, just called Synchronicity 2. I literally called up a record store before we had stuff like Soundhound and such, and I would just hum part of the song, and this one guy there was like, oh, that's Synchronicity 2 by The Police. And it is such a great song. That song never gets tired for me. But here we have the great arcade authentic look here. And not only that, we have the custom OST going here. A full CD soundtrack. And just check it out for yourself here from the get-go here. You'll see in a moment when it starts. So awesome. Let's check the game out for a moment here. And listen to this incredible music here for the custom OST. Again, this is for roughly 8 games now. Love the real guitar work here. So nice seeing this authentic look here. Again, many of the games, like over 100 games that had issues with controls, with their default predetermined controls, that were initially on, of course, the keyboard, are now on L and R with the update. And if any kind of Super Nintendo controller or more is going to be absolutely flawless with this update. And let's play this for another brief moment here, and then we'll move on to another game. I remember this. And I used to play this in arcade with my friend, and I'm getting my butt whooped right now. Would help if I stopped doing that. We'd actually ride a bus to go to a swimming pool and go to a local arcade, and probably put $10 in quarters each day, 5 days a week for the entire summer into games like this, Rygar, pinball machines, everything. But I kept getting stuck on the third stage endlessly. The bridge part, it would always make me feel miserably every time. I'd have to say my favorite version of Double Dragon is probably the NES version, because I absolutely loved the RPG element love wops there. And of course, the Bobbles Big Venture and Little Venture are both incredible as well. But yes, this is the custom OST, and I give personal thanks to GP Star and the original hard work of course, Big Blue Front End, who pioneered this entire thing with, of course, the first Final Fight custom OST. And we have many Donkey Kong fans too, so let's see what Donkey Kong looks like if it's more authentic here. And Donkey Kong is so incredibly difficult, but now it's going to look more authentic to the original arcade version. And again, I'm going to do a few more games with the L and R fix-ups, but here we have this authentic board here. And if you want to have kind of an authentic Super Game Boy style thing, try loading the Super Game Boy Enhanced Donkey Kong game for Game Boy Core MGBA, and play past the first stage, and you'll get a nice little surprise which you will not expect. But look how awesome this is here. And this is a game that typically doesn't have samples, but I have it set up so you actually have samples if you try running this on MAME 2003 Xtreme. And I'm talking even the squeaking of the shoes, as well as him just jumping up and down. This is such a tough game. If there's any game that Rewind would help on, this is definitely it, because it is such a hard game. I don't even know if I'm going to make it past this first stage here, because this is just... Look, I'm going to get screwed right here. Nope, not yet. No! I'm going to take a gamble here. Don't come... Yep, I'm getting lucky. So... Whoa! That was close. Little pixel perfect thing going on there. Don't come down. Give me a chance here. Wow, I made it past the first stage. I didn't expect that. Okay, so we got Donkey Kong covered and accounted for. Let's see what else we have here. And obviously, I showed Forgotten Worlds in my last video, but let's do it again with a nice little board here, because I'm a big shmup fan, and this is the TurboGrafx CD version, or my favorite versions of this. And I like the Mega Drive version too, but I have to typically play that with a second controller always activated, so I actually have infinity lives with my first controller. This is not an easy game to play until you really master it. I mean, again, a minute to learn, lifetime to master. It's so hard to beat on one player mode on the Mega Drive version. But absolutely love the borders here. Awesome stuff here. And these will auto-load with the update if you want them to. I'll show you how to actually run without them if you would rather just run full screen. And again, we have L and R as our controls here. Awesome. Because somebody requested this be one of the games fixed up, so it's fixed up for you. We all know how hard it is to play this game without being able to rotate the orb here. The rotating orb. And this is so cool with this board. Feels like I really am in the arcade here. Short of having a little console to put my quarters on. Here's another thing that many of you might not be aware of. Some games use really cool gimmicks like heads-up displays. And one of these was actually Buck Rogers. And Buck Rogers is a multi-tier game as well, where the game requires external samples to run properly, otherwise it has no sound at all. Not only that, it was missing the heads-up display, which I'm going to show you right now. With old Buck Rogers, and also a big fan of the original show. I mean, with Gil Bello. I forgot his name. His name was Gil. I forgot his last name, but a great show from the 70s. Buck Rogers in the 21st century or whatever. Look at the little heads-up display in the top left there. He's also in a great show called Sidekicks as well with Ernie Reyes Jr. Big fan of that show too. But yes, we got the sound, and look at that little heads-up display there on the top left. That is not there in the normal emulation version of this, but with this update it is. It's a nice little panel overlay. And there are some of these for other games too, such as Spy Hunter. And when I had my Atom computer, I initially wanted like a Commodore 64, but I got an Atom computer instead. But I still played the head out of this, and I played like Donkey Kong with the ColecoVision add-on, as well as this, and of course Dragon's Lair, one of my absolute favorite games. And I was so ecstatic to be able to finally run the cassette tape version of Dragon's Lair on the Mini, and yes, you can run it. I'll probably do a separate tutorial on how to run that, because yes, you can run the first console version of Dragon's Lair ever on your Mini with the appropriate setup here. And it needs a special BIOS setup, which I'll do a little tutorial on as well, but let's try pole position for a brief moment. I used to love playing this in a pizza shop when I was younger. Actually, I'm going to jump around here. I'm going to do In a Hunt, because that is a great I'm shmup, and we obviously have, we had sound issues on this before, where it sounded like Freddy Krueger scratching a chalkboard, but no more. Not only that, we have the more authentic arcade cabinet appearance there. Look how awesome that is. And I have quite a few of these done for Data East, and again, some of these I could do custom for you guys and gals if you request them. So give me a game that you might like to see the board for. And no, don't ask me about Killer Instinct 1 or 2, because those games still do not run all too well. I got them to run a little bit better performance and speed-wise, but still not good enough. But here we have perfect sound here, no more sound issues, and we have a more authentic arcade appearance here. It's one of the absolute best shmups ever, and same company that made R-Type, and Ninja Spirit, and multiple other games. We're going to do a few more border games here and a few more fix-ups. And not only is pole position fixed up, but we also have the board for that too. So nice not hearing the Freddy Krueger scratching on chalkboard noises. Okay, and so this game is playing flawlessly now, and so cool. Feels like I'm truly at the arcade now. My first real experience with this game was actually playing it on the PlayStation 1 port, along with Heart of Darkness and R-Types. which was kind of like the arcade ports of R-Type 1 and 2. And it surprised me that some of the stages from Super R-Type on Super Nintendo were actually in R-Types, the R-Type 2 game in it, but they weren't running in slow motion like they do on the Super Nintendo. Here, let's do a Card Warriors for a brief moment, see how this border plays out. And again, there are well over 100 games that I have implemented for this, and I could add more. I mean, about any game you add, I could get them in probably within a few minutes each. And I'll do what I can to get all the ones that you guys and gals request. And if I don't get them in the next update, I'll try to get them the update after that. And I added a few that I really wanted myself, too. Some of my favorite games I added to the mix, like Sly Spy, which I'll do again. Okay, let's see how this plays. Now, I'm probably going to try to add Michael Jackson's Moonwalker as well. And here we're using L&R again, which is awesome. And again, this is such a cool game. And I love watching the Angry Video Game nerd version of the NES game. That was just hysterical. Some of the comments he made about the game. This game is so much faster than the NES version, but as much as I like the arcade version, I still really like the MSX version because it is the most violent of all the versions, where the enemies actually stay on the screen after they die. Kind of like the open board version. This is insane. This fire is moving so quick. But yeah, the border is awesome here. Let's try a few more games real quick. What else do we have? We have Pole Position. And of course, I have some nice shmups in here. I always like to try to showcase the shmup here. Here's another, this game here actually had performance and speed issues, but it runs fantastical now. I'm just going to run this game for a brief moment here since I happen to have it in my lineup. It's called Sivern, or Kivern, however you like to pronounce it. I'm going to go with Sivern. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like, I love dragon games like Dragon Spirit made by Namco and such, but I also like the game called Lair on PS3, which initially came out with only motion controls. And of course, I don't have that the appropriate command line, so I'm going to let that go for right now. I'll come back to it, but I'll showcase that in my next video. And like I said, I never edit my videos. I just leave the flubs in there as is. But let's do the other game that I planned on doing instead for right now. We'll do like an Asteroids game real quick. We'll see how Asteroids looks with the nice border here. Now, I'll definitely be coming back to Sivern because I definitely want to showcase that. I might actually have Sivern in my, oh, look at that, awesome stuff. That is so beautiful. It looks like it's actually on an LCD screen or an old cathode ray TV screen from the arcade. That is beautiful. Beautiful indeed. This is so authentic to the arcade version, it is redonkulous. Reminds me of when I was in Chuck E. Cheese as a kid playing this game. So beautiful. But let's see if I have the Sivern properly set up here in my dummy folder. I might possibly have it. It might possibly be here somewhere. Hoping I actually copied this over so I can try it real quick. Oh, there it is. It should load now. So we'll do it with MAME 2003 Xtreme. I just didn't have the appropriate command line set up on the main user interface, but it should load just fine right here until I fix the command line. And beautiful shmup indeed. Okay, here we go. Kaneko, great company. But this game, when I last showcased this game, it actually had performance and speed issues, but now you can see it's running phenomenally well. This is so beautiful indeed. Look how awesome this is. It just runs so damn nice right now. Feels like a typical cave shooter. Love this really upbeat music. Reminds me of like the Battle of the Planets, aka G-Force. Gotcha, man. Whoa, bullet hell. A lot harder to do bullet hell when the game's running pretty much at full speed. And I'm looking for some new movies or TV shows to watch right now, and I saw a trailer for this movie called Psycho Gorman. Give it a shot. If you really like crazy trauma style stuff, you might get a kick out of this movie. It seems absolutely insane. Just like Turbo Kid, which is an offshoot of a little segment from ABCs of Death. If you're not familiar with ABCs of Death, it is a great horror series where each director is given a limited budget to do a little video related to an initial of the alphabet related to a death vignette. Just give it a shot for yourself. It is on Netflix. ABCs of Death Volume 1 and 2. Both fun movies, and Turbo Kid made it into a full-scale movie, which is awesome. It's like a Mad Max for kids. It is so awesome. But here we have Sivern. It's running awesome, and I showcased it anyway, even though I had a low flub on the main user interface. And let's do Pole Position now, because that is another game that I really want to be fixed up. It is now currently mapped to have R1 for accelerator, and of course L1 for brake. Let's do that real quick. Pole Position. And I'm sure I'll think of another one because I'm doing the one more game thing. And 720 was another game that I really want to have going. And it is vastly fixed up with some nice things here because it uses a special control configuration in the arcade. And it is very, very difficult to play on the home version. And we all know that the NES version is like rat poop. It is so bad. But I still enjoy it for what it is, along with Skate or Die. But here we can actually use R1 to accelerate here. This is awesome. And we can use, I'm using my X button on the PlayStation Classic controller to switch gears here. And by the way, for those of you on the Mega Drive, SNES, NES Classics, you can also play the Vectrex version of Pole Position, which is phenomenally awesome. It is a great, great vector graphics game. And I love these type of racing games. These classic crashes. So awesome. Never gets old. We definitely need like a custom OST for this. Something like a Sammy Hagar song, Drive 55 or something. Never gets old. And I also like Victory Run on TurboGrafx 16. Love that game. Rad Racer 1 and 2 both on the NES. I mean, any game that has this type of gameplay. Outrun, obviously. But Pole Position's playing awesome here. And let me see what else I want to showcase in this little lineup here. I mean, there's so many to showcase here. What else do we have here? I mean, I've added a few more here to showcase, but I'm going to try to see what stands out. Oh yeah, Slide Spy. Let's see that little border. This is one that I did custom because I really, really love this game. I also did one for Robotron 2084. Oh, and of course we have to load Terminator 2. I'm glad I didn't forget that. Winners don't use drugs, and here I got this custom border in. Took me a few minutes to get this to work properly, but now it's working perfectly. And Terminator 2, when you update, is going to run perfectly by itself, no problems. Okay, but yeah, I'm looking for some new movies to watch, and today's release day, so there should be some new movies on demand here. I gotta watch The Bloodshot with Vin Diesel, big fan of superhero movies in general. And I actually started watching the Blade trilogy over the last couple days. We finished 1 and 2 last night. We're probably gonna finish 3, which has Ryan Reynolds in it tonight. I love that Guillermo del Toro is behind, of course, Part 2, and we have Hellboy himself in Part 2. This is another game that had issues in the past. But this runs so awesome now. Love this board here. Love this game. I used to play the hell out of this, and it's actually one of the first games I ever kept popping quarters in, just so I could play the entire game from beginning to end. This little scene there with Abraham Lincoln reminds me of Planet of the Apes. It almost seems like an Easter egg to Planet of the Apes there. And of course we're going to do Terminator 2 right now because this is one game that I really want to get fixed up for a while. And again, this is going to work on the Mega Drive, SNES, NES, as well as the PlayStation Classics with the update. And we're talking about Terminator 2 here. It's going to have fixed controls from the get-go, as well as a nice, authentic arcade border. And performance and speed are both fixed up as well. So this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Far cry from what it used to be last time I showcased it, last year. You can see that it's all configured already. Now I can simply just play the game.
It's Judgment Day.
Look at that, that is awesome. Doesn't get better than this. I mean, the performance and speed are just top notch. I can even add cheats here and go into infinity something if I want to. R2, I will go with cheats, enable cheats. I can give myself infinity missiles, infinity 3 missiles, gunpowder. Let's see what happens here. Now you just blow everything in the kingdom come with infinity missiles. Look how awesome that is. Love doing this in the Rambo 3 game. Nothing's gonna stop me now. I'm true tour de force Arnold Schwarzenegger at his best. Okay, and I was looking on Netflix. There's actually a few Arnold Schwarzenegger movies that showed up on there that I'm gonna have to give a shot to that I haven't seen yet. Last Stand was actually one of the last ones that I watched. That was such an incredible movie. So I'm gonna be watching some of those other ones that I have not yet seen, catching up on some of his movies. Same with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal. I still watch his movies. Pretty much any of those martial artists. And then I'm probably going to watch Stuber. That's another movie I want to see because it has the guy from Raid 1 and 2, Redemption. I love that guy. Great, great actor. And it's nice to see him finally in the movie where he's speaking English. And he's such a tour de force crossover between parkour and martial arts. Love watching everything he's in. Terminated. But this game's running great. And not only that, I have Revolution X fixed up as well. So let's go to Revolution X here, being on the same little thing here. The Midway light gun games. If there are any other games that you'd like to see fixed up, let me know. But I got both this and Revolution X fixed up. So we're going to do that real quick. Revolution X should be in my list. Right there. And an alternative to this is actually running the PlayStation 1 version. But the PlayStation 1 version obviously takes up far more space But if you have USB host or PlayStation Classic, it is a non-issue. But here, if you're running on NAND, you might want to run this fixed up version with the next update. So Revolution X is such a great game too. And I always love seeing this guy, obviously when he was in 2.5 Men, doing a little singing out loud, doing his testing of his voice. It was so hilarious when he was in that show. Okay? If there are any other TV shows or movies you guys would recommend, let me know. But I'm hoping to see Psycho Gorman next and finish up that Bloodshot movie with Steven Seagal. And like some Midway games, you would have low volume, like in Mortal Kombat and such. I might try to work on fixing up the sound to be louder volume too. I might try to go to 200% volume, have this fixed up as the default perimeter with the update as well. I just need to test it before I enact it officially. So yes, I'll try to get the sound up to a higher volume for both Mortal Kombat and this, because like I said, some Midway games will have lower volume. Not an issue in the PlayStation 1 version though. But here you're seeing, this is another thing that I'd like to probably fix up. No, we're not going to shoot the cat, we're not going to do that. But awesome game here, and yes, I'm going to work on a little bit of a sound fix for this game. That should be one of the last things I'm going to get into the update, for sure, now that I'm seeing this for myself. Like I said, many times people will report things to me that they'd like to see fixed up, and I do what I can to get them fixed up. So this game is still playing beautifully, and this ran so slow in my last demonstration of this. You can see it's running top-notch fast right now. And I love playing both this and the PlayStation 1 version. Pretty much all of the light gun games I could play. Operation Wolf, this, and so on. We're running awesome here. And I'd probably use cheats for like infinity ammo and stuff in this too. Always fun. Such a great game. Let's see if we have any more board games that I might want to showcase before this video is up. Should be at least 1 or 2 more quick ones. Let's do one more quick list from Z to A and see if we have anything else here. We got Tecmo Knight, a great violent game here. I'm going to do maybe 2 more games here because I keep doing the one more game thing. And here you can see Total Carnage in my lineup. I kept saying for the last 3 videos I was going to do a demonstration of that as well. So I'm going to do a little quick demonstration of that. This is what I call a spiritual successor. Follow up to, of course, Smash TV. Great game. And it is definitely, in my opinion, based off of Running Man. So we got Tecmo Knight. This is actually quite a violent game. Look at the violence and mayhem here. You can pretty much mutilate and decapitate enemies here. This is so awesome. Such a great game. Typical Tecmo at its best. Look at that. Dismount permit. But cartoony style. No different than some of your Justice League cartoons. Like, even earlier Justice League Y7 cartoons had some of the stuff. Y14 cartoons had the stuff. Tecmo Knight, great game. Well worth playing. Oh, geez. Definitely recommend playing this game. Okay, so Tecmo Knight is a winner there. Let's see what else we have in this list here. Should be at least 1 more. What do we have? Oh yeah, Total Carnage I want to showcase. And Superman is actually not a bad game made by Sunsoft. I mean, Sunsoft is a damn good company. I really like every game they made, and we all know that Superman has a bad luck streak with many video games. I still have Superman Returns on Xbox 360, however, and I really love just flying around in that game. It is such an awesome feeling. He's one of my favorite superheroes to watch movies, read comics of, watch cartoons of. I've been through that Superman cartoon series from the 1990s multiple times. Such a great show. But here we're doing a little bit of Total Carnage here, just so you can see what it's like as far as the follow-up to, of course, Smash TV. And we're going to do the one more game thing here and see where I ended here. But here we go, got Total Carnage here. Yes. Again, it's playing awesome. I have the twin stick shooter controls. I'm able to use triangle to shoot up, circle to move right, and square to shoot left, X to shoot down, and then I can do a combination of them to shoot in all 8 directions. That is awesome. And again, for those of you who didn't grow up on twin stick shooters, this is going to be very grueling and difficult to get used to. Much like trying to play RC Pro-Am. I've actually played like mobile phone versions of games like RC Pro-Am, where they had the nerve to actually have a control scheme where you literally just point in the direction you want to drive. I like the way the 3/4 perspective controls are. They're so awesome. Playing awesome here. Shortcut. I read it as shotgun for a second there. But yes, Total Carnage and Smash TV are a great 2-for-2 combination of stuff to do. But again, don't forget to recommend some TVs and movies for me to watch on Netflix. Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever. I got all of them, and I'd like to see some new ones to watch while we're in isolation this week. I still have to work, of course, because my jobs are actually considered essential. But all of you, make sure you stay safe during this crisis, and wash your hands, and just stay safe. Do your best to stay safe, and watch out for others. I mean, we all need to be in this together to stay safe. Okay, Total Carnage here, and what else do we have here? Let's do one more game. We'll do Superman. See if we can have a good Superman game here. And I also like playing the Konami games such as Contra and Super Contra. Super Contra for arcade is actually quite a bit different than the NES version because it has a level up schematic. You can actually level up your weapons, kind of like in Contra 4 for the 3DS. Or should we say DS? But I played a game on my 3DS. Like the synthesizer type score here. And it's always interesting because I used to play the DC version of Dungeons and Dragons where you'd actually have to pull your punches with Superman because if you ever punch a human being for real, he pretty much incinerate them or demeciate them. This game is actually cool because you start out here and you actually have shmup sections. Like when you get past this section here. And of course it has a nice rendition of John Williams' amazing score from the original Superman 1 and 2 movie. John Williams has done so many incredible soundtracks, all the way back from the original Lost in Space show that I used to watch with Billy Mumi and such, and all the way up to until Star Wars and Superman and so on. Indiana Jones, I mean, he's done so many awesome scores. And even when I watched him doing Lost in Space, he used to go under the name Johnny Williams, but later on he went under just John Williams. But one of the best composers ever. And let's get to the next section here because it is more like a shmup section. But yes, this is actually quite a good Superman game, along with Death and Return of Superman, another game I'm a big fan of, which is also made by Sunsoft, and that is actually on Super Nintendo and Mega Drive. And this looks like I'm fighting Swamp Thing here. And if anybody has like a nice listing of supervillains that they take on, I love the villains that Superman takes on, from Mixoplick all the way to Parasite and so on. So many great villains. And I love the scrolling sections here, and again, you get into more of a frenetic, like, shmup style section coming up here. Complete with bosses and stuff. But yes, very, very cool game for what it is. And you don't really necessarily run into a great superhero game. This is quite good for what it is. If I was going to pick, like, a best superhero game of all time, it's a tough choice. I mean, there are just so many ones that I really, really enjoy. And obviously, Sunsoft made Batman on the original Nintendo as well. Great, great game there. After I take out this boss here, I'm probably going to end up having to continue. I should be in a shooting session if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played this, a few months to last year at least. But let's try to move into the next section here. We should be in the shoot-up section here. Come on now, here we are. There we go, shoot 'em up section. I love when games throw these into the mix. But yes, we have a fairly decent, if not quite good, Superman game here. Just simply called Superman. It's made by Taito. I'm not sure why I was saying Sunsoft. It's Taito. Got a little mixed up there. I was thinking of other Sunsoft games. So I got corrected on this. I'm going to leave it as is. And here we're fighting against Airwolf. But Airwolf got taken down. So since we're thinking of Airwolf right now, we're going to make an Airwolf little rendition here. And there's a nice little exploit I like to use. Loop in a game, you're invincible. And that's kind of funny. So if you actually have the ability to push the button like track in field fashion in the arcade version, you're never going to be taken down. You'd literally be absolutely invincible, and I'm not going to do Turbo Fire right now, but I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about in this Airwolf here, with a little border here. There's just so many games to showcase, but I'm going to have to save some of these for my next video. But here, you have your shoot and your loop, and again, if you're playing this on the SNES or NES Classics, you can do the Clovercon where you hold down the attack button, which would be the loop button, and the shoot button, and then hold down the select button on each of them until they activate Turbo Fire, and you'll see what I mean. Whoops. This is actually on NES as well. If you do a loop like this with Turbo Fire, you can't die. You're invincible. A little bit of oversight in the game. You can literally just do the entire game like this. Now, I'm not even using Turbo Fire right now, and nothing's hitting me at all. It's like when they designed the game, they didn't realize you could exploit the game. Now I'm holding down X and circle right now to do the shoot and the bombs, as well as the loop-de-loop, and nothing can take me out. I can make it through the entirety of the entire game without being taken down at all. This is hilarious. And I want to go back and watch the movie as well. Look, I'll get to this whole section without being taken out. And a lot of times when I play video games, I look for exploits like this. Like with Top Gun, which I'll save for another day. A friend of mine was trying to do a little bit of a time attack on that. And I was able to analyze the game and realize that enemies in the game cannot hit you if they can't see you. So when you're in the second stage and you have all the sea enemies trying to hit you, all you gotta do is just stay in the sky and the sea enemies will not be able to hit you down when they can't see you. I hope you enjoyed the video and there'll be more to come.